Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming to the Revaluate Coaching Lab. I'm Alejandro Cortez, and I have with me today Jeff Lobb from Coaching 52. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm good, man. What's up, Al?
Not much. For those that don't really know you or want to know a little bit, just a quick background. Like, what can you give us? Like, what's Coach 52? Let's start there.
Sure, yeah. So my name is Jeff Lobb. Coach 52 is our one of our platforms that brings strategic, valuable things to real estate agents, teams, and brokers on all the ways to tactically win business, whether it's winning listing inventory, working with buyers, getting buyer agency signed, strategies for using social and tech, really things that help agents make money. It's kind of what
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And you've been in the industry for a while, or?
Long time, yeah, 36 years, agent, broker owner. I was executive for a large franchise brand for many years. So I've worn the hats of a listing agent for many years, a team leader, and then run brokerages for a long time as well. So depends on which hat I put on which day.
So I'm gonna steal something from some other people that I've heard talk about this, but I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Just kind of high level, like if you're building a team, like, and they come to you for advice or coaching.
Yeah.
Like, what are the things you see in an agent or team that is going to tell you they're going to make it? Like, what's maybe a skill set or something that they have that a coach needs to have, or sorry, a team member needs to have to be able to be successful?
So most of the times the teams that have success are usually you have the team leaders, the rainmaker, right? They're the ones that can generate all the organic approach, all the organic listings. They tend to have, I got either too many buyers I can't work with, or I got too many, or just can't scale time. And they need help so that they can do what they do better more often. And that was truly like where my business was many years ago. Is markets were different over many years, but I remember one part of my career, I had 40 listings in inventory at all times. That's almost impossible to manage. So I needed not only a buyer's agent to handle influx of buyer calls, I needed someone to put up, back then, signs and my marketing. I probably needed 4 buyer's agents, open houses every weekend. Now, even if you only had 4 listings or 5 listings, it still then becomes a challenge to, like, I want to maximize every listing I have, so I needed more people to do it because I'm only one, right? So the team lead is the rainmaker. The team gets built around filling in all the voids that they are not good at or not a good use of time for.
So awesome. Thank you for that. No, I was thinking about just kind of wanted to ask you something, because I think it's important to, when you look at if you're going to build a team, right? If that's where you want to go, if you're an agent by yourself, like, you probably see what that person needs to have to make it successful. And obviously teams that are growing, it's good to know what to have. And it sounds like knowing your personnel is key, or knowing who to assign to things.
That's right. Personality's got to be strong. They have to have the right mindset. They have to have the ability to generate business.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So our topic for today is discovering sellers, or 3 tactics of discovering sellers in a database. So I want to switch to that. I want to pick your brain and have some people listen to some of the conversations we're going to have, because I think it's a really cool idea, what we've pre-talked about. And I think we're going to share some interesting ideas that people are going to be aware of. But, we just kind of have to decide, okay, if we're going to do this job, we got to go back to these strategies that we're going into. So when we met previously, Jeff, and I was picking your brain and asking you ideas on this topic, one of the things that I asked you was more, how do I go back to be finding sellers? What do I need to do to go to my database and start finding sellers at a high level? So what can you start with?
Yeah, I mean, so we look at a couple things in this market. So people jokingly used to say to me, Jeff, how do you convince somebody in today's world that's got a 2.75% interest rate to sell and go buy at a 7 and change interest rate? And sometimes I look and say, listen, sometimes the real answer is you can't. You're not going to convince certain people to move. And it's probably not the right approach, because in my position right now, even as a homeowner, I'm in that boat. I'm not planning on moving because I have a 275. However, the number one reason people move is life events, right? That's the big triggers, life events. And while I might say today, I don't need to move because I have my wonderful interest rate and I'm happy, that doesn't mean I won't have a life event, unplanned or planned, coming up in the near future. And we say that unplanned because it can happen. People lose jobs, people get promotions, people all of a sudden find out they're going to have a baby, people are going to, like, that happens. So when someone says that they're not necessarily ready to go, sometimes we may need to focus on people that may need to sell versus want to sell. You know, I may not want to sell, but who are the people that need to sell? And they're going to sell no matter what interest rates. No one cares about interest rates at that point. So we identify them. It's the divorce, it's the probates, it's the people that are having big life events and triggers in their world. It's career based, and there's ways to strategically target them based on data, right? There's access to data that can target those people. And we can get into a few of those particular ways if you'd like. But data is available. I mean, coming from your platform, I mean, you know, I guess I'm big fans, but to me, I would always focus on, you know, the predictive stuff, which is magical. But if people want to focus on probate and divorce and life events and another really big one, absentee homeowners. I have a team we coach right now that has a dialer. They dial absentee homeowners. It dials all morning long for 3 hours. Their goal is to have 7 to 8 conversations. And an absentee owner is either second home they may or may not need. It may be an investment property that they may have multiples that are either getting rented or not rented. So maybe they need help with a tenant. Maybe they're like, hey, maybe I should sell this and cash out. So there's all of these categories where the business could be done regardless of what market conditions are. And sometimes we focus. You know, some people specialize in probate stuff. It's not easy. It's a sensitive area, but they're going to sell, right? Yep. I say this as a true story. And it was an eye-opener for me, even as a real estate coach, is my own, I handle my own dad's estate the past year and a half. And, you know, no one knows we're in real estate per se, but for 6 months, the thing is under probate status, right? My name's out there. I'm the executor. It's all over every document in the world. I never got one phone call, one email, one postcard, one letter to the house, nothing for 6 to 8 months for someone looking to help me sell that house. $800,000 sale. So I'm like, well, not that I would have hired them because we're in the real estate business. I've got people that I know.
Of course.
At the same time, no one knew that. And why were they not?
No one's trying.
Helping. No one was trying. That data is available. Even if it went to the mailbox of the home that gets forwarded to me, I could at least go, well, maybe I should call them. Maybe they specialize in this. So I think it's effort, and I think it's having the right access to the right data.
So being here, we know that Revaluate, that's our specialty, right?
Of course.
You've already mentioned it. It's discovering likely movers. It's looking at the ability to identify a life event. Life event's key. And you said it best. It's the people that need to move. Yeah. And I think that's the bucket of people that we need to kind of start isolating, because we want to work to that category so we can find those sellers. And that's like the high level, simplest way of looking at it. If they need to move, they're probably going to want to sell something. Right. So now, how do we maybe grow that number or grow that database? I know you gave me something when we were talking, but the thing that I'm going towards, the topic I want to kind of switch to is how many people should we talk to? Is it a couple people? Is it a lot of people? Like,
no,
tell me about that.
Our number one job, I mean, look, data is very valuable. Years ago, we didn't really appreciate the value of data, right? Because we had stuff on spreadsheets and sticky notes and all that stuff. But the only way you're going to have an asset of your business is really having good data, the clients, the referrals, their information. So people look at real estate sometimes too seriously about real estate. So while we're in the real estate business, that's not really our business. To me, real estate's the product. Like, we sell that as a product. Our business is people, finding people, talking to people, building trust with people. And if you said literally, and when I asked this question across the country from a live stage, and it's just a simple question, I asked this: if you have a database of, let's say, 500 people, just that's your database, and within the next 12 to 18 months, that database now goes to 11 or 1,200 people, what happens to your real estate business? And everyone across the country will have the same answer. Well, my business is going to grow because I'm connected to more people. Okay, so there's the common denominator. How do you get your business? That means you just got to go meet more people. And it sounds easy. But to me, my goal every day, regardless of how many transactions we're doing or not doing, we should have in our calendars going to find a way to meet 5 to 7 new people to get them to have a conversation about real estate. 5 to 7. If you can't do 5, start off with 3. but adding them to the database, they can get nurtured. We can get data on them. Because remember, it's not just those 3 or 5 people. Each of those people know another 200 at least. So by building that rapport and going, hey, I just met some guy that sells real estate, you're now connected to their network too. But we get so caught up in like, oh, I got to be on the MLS and I got to email people and I got to put together a Facebook ad and all that kind of importance. It is good. But putting in your calendar to talk to 5 to 7 a day seems very, very difficult for many. Interestingly enough, I literally just got back from hosting this mastermind with top producers. And the common theme right across the board of four of them I had was all of their referral business and repeat business is coming from where they all started in the core was they belong to multiple groups of people. I like to call them streams of people, meaning they volunteer for this group charity-wise. They volunteer and do this for the Board of Ed. They volunteer and coach a kid's sports team. They volunteer and they do. Each of those groups are people that are different. They get to know you, like you, and trust you for what you're doing for that cause. And then they realize you're in real estate and they tie it together. So how many people are you in front of every day is the real question. And if you're not in front of enough, my belief is you should have 7 different groups, 7 streams of people that do not overlap. And that's how I built my database, my business. And here's the way I simply looked at it. So let's just take a real simple concept, BNI, like a BNI group, a business group back then, right? If I got a return out of BNI, not everyone did, but I worked BNI, I took people out to lunch, I got to know them. But let's say if I got 2 or 3 good leads from BNI and I turned it into 1 or 2 sales. I'm like, oh, okay. So a couple good referrals, I got 3 or 4, I turned it into 1 or 2. What if that stays consistent? All I said to myself is, what if I could find another group like this, but over here? So what if I went and belonged to, now I joined the kids PTA, or I belong to the education foundation at the school. Now I'm in that group of people that are teachers and superintendents and parents. That's different than the BNI group. And eventually, if I do a good enough job and they get to know me in real estate, I might get some referrals there. How many more of those groups can I belong to? That puts me in front of people where I add value. And that's truly what built my career. But today's world will build your database like no other. And you got to make effort to get it into a database, because in your phone, on your notepad, and on an Excel spreadsheet is not going to nurture them and track their data and their habits and all that good stuff. It's not, you're not getting the value out of that. So to me, that's the biggest challenge is look at your calendar every day and tell me you can talk to 5 to 7 new people. Simple.
Nice. So just to kind of recap the 2 things we talked about so far, you got to talk to more people. That's something that we just have to accept. If you want to find more sellers, step 1, you got to talk to more people. And one way of doing that is to think of this 7 group concept, right? You really need a name for that, Jeff. You got to come up with some sort of
I call it 7
catchy
streams of people. I actually have a full
Yeah.
hour talk on it, but 7 streams of people is what it's called. Teaching what the 7 streams are and how they
Nice.
how you nurture them, and then how do you build from that.
And those 7 streams of people, I mean, I'm guessing here, but depending on what I'm good at, if I'm an agent, they could be a little different than someone else. So there's an opportunity here to sit with you and discuss, how do I build my 7 streams of people, essentially.
100%. And
Yeah.
every top producer had the same thing in common. Same thing. And I didn't even have to ask for it. They just said, I asked them, where are you getting your referrals from? And every time I heard, well, I get a referral from here and I work at this group and I volunteer for this and I volunteer for that and I get referrals from this one. So after they were all done, I said, what's the common theme to the audience? What's the common theme you just heard? Each of them injects themselves into groups of volunteerism or work or side projects or hobbies that gets them in front of people from all different avenues. They said it, I just put a little bow around it, right? So and truthfully, that's how I built my business for many years. Same functionality.
Nice. So this kind of segues in very nicely to another thing we talked about. And I wrote down how to insert yourself into the community, but I think you had a better idea. So, we're talking about, we can talk to more people. So let's build these 7 different groups of people or streams. And now how do we insert ourselves into each of these groups and increase, talk to me about that a little bit.
Sure. My favorite way to inject myself into community was something I did before Facebook was born, but I can leverage it easily with Facebook. Most people right now have a Facebook business page that doesn't do much for them. It's not organic. It's not giving you much traffic unless you're spending money on ads. So my go-to, and people jokingly say, Jeff, if you had, if you had to start over tomorrow, where would you start? This would be one idea. I learned that when I picked my geographic farm area where I found the most amount of activity where I wanted to sell real estate, I said, well, I could go knock on all their doors, but I didn't love door knocking. But years ago I did, because that's all we had. So I said, what if I could go meet the people in the community around where these people go? Like, where do they shop? Where are they getting lunch? Where are they getting food? Where are they getting their coffee? So I simply learned to prospect the business owners and the businesses around that farm area. And I offered them a ridiculous value. So I'll share with you a script. I think it's something I would use any given day. I could use it anywhere. So I'll say with you, I'll give you my real first example. So if you were a pizzeria, it was a pizzeria. So you're my pizzeria, right? I go create a Facebook business page called where I live, say the best of Sussex County. That's the name of my page. I don't care about my Jeff Lobb Facebook page. I create a new Facebook page, the best of Sussex County. And I walk into you, my favorite pizzeria, where I know you're probably delivering pies to my neighborhood all day long. And, plus the other thing most people don't realize is you as a local business owner, probably 500 people in the community, maybe more. So I'm like, hey, I'm Jeff Lobb from XYZ Realty. I wanted to share with you a couple things. We're working with local businesses like yourself, highlighting some of the best of, and as far as the best of, you're one of my favorite pizzerias. We have a business page on Facebook called the Best of Sussex County. I would love to highlight your pizzeria, your catering, all the fun stuff you do on my real estate best of page. I would love to share with you all of my real estate clients and hopefully drive more traffic to your business. Would you be open to that? And truthfully, what the guy really said the day I did this is many years ago. He actually sat back and he goes, yeah, it sounds good, but what's it cost? He thought I was selling him something.
Yeah.
And all I said was, no, we just sell a lot of real estate in the area. And we have a lot of real estate clients that are always looking for a new place to try and go to. And I think you're one of the best. I want to put you on my best of page. I just want to send more people to you because they're always looking for new. Would that be cool? And when he's like, yeah, sure. What do you want to do? I'm like, sure. Well, when you get some downtime, we'll do a little video, you and I, a little interview style. I make a post. I tag you in the post. I share some great things about you. What am I really doing here, though? I'm building a relationship with you. I'm prospecting by giving you value first. And I know that besides the people in my farm area, you know way more people than my own database. So we do a little post together. We share some social media together. I stop back in 3 or 4 weeks. I take some pictures together to the point where you're like, this dude's always promoting me, man. Like, that's freaking awesome. And I could do that anywhere. I could do that with the coffee shops. I could do it with the bakeries. I could do it with anybody we want to give a boost to because we're putting them on our best of page. So we're elevating them. Facebook page costs me nothing. I get a pretty easy prospecting script. I get some social media content out of it. I get their name, their information. It goes into my database. And then my job is to network that to build more data. So I can do that anywhere. One of my favorite scripts.
Yeah, I mean that's awesome. So we're really digging in here. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build everybody kind of an idea of a path where they could take, right? Because obviously I can just tell an agent you got to talk to more people, but I think we're giving them at least one way of doing it, and there's going to be multiple ways. But I want people to notice that we haven't really discussed any technical things yet. This is really just things anyone can do on their regular basis.
Right.
You can do this on your phone. You can walk around your neighborhood. I mean, these are easy things that honestly all agents should be able to do on the regular. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You could do that. I could do this anywhere, anytime. Costs me nothing. It's really just create a new Facebook page, give it the right title, learn the script, go talk to people.
Yep. When you get these people, then you start incorporating your technology into it. You start incorporating your predictive analytics, whatever it is you have running, because now you're going to have multiple streams of, leads, and that's going to lead to more sellers.
100%. Because obviously we all want more sellers in this particular market. And you could, again, target them the way we did by finding the people that have to sell versus want to sell. The other couple things that we should be focusing on, also inexpensive, costs nothing really, but it's kind of a unique strategy and it's really only available kind of on Facebook, but I think it's missing Most people miss the mark on this. Most people and I know I'm a big Instagram first, I'm a big TikTok guy, but let's face it, Facebook right now is where this offers this little strategy. But people on social media share what's happening in their life, right? Their life events. And the problem with that is if the algorithm doesn't feed it to me, I don't see it. And if I don't see it, as far as I'm concerned, it didn't happen.
Yep.
So what do we do? Like when one of our clients that we've sold the home to 3 or 4 years ago starts making a post about maybe her husband's ill now, or maybe he ended up in the hospital, but I didn't see it, so I didn't know about it. But next thing you know, something happens and unfortunately he passes away. Like, and I don't know about this stuff, but it's on social. Like I should be that, like, that's where I got to be more human. Like, what about the good things that are happening with our clients when the life events happen? Hey, we're having twins. Congratulations. And they're only like in a 1 bedroom, 1 bath condo. Like that is a sign like they're going to have to move soon. But if the algorithm doesn't send it to me, I don't know about it. How else would I know? Unless I'm sending them my mailers, my postcards, my emails. None of that is telling me they're going to have twins. None of it. So where do we see these life events? So the simple way to do this until Facebook removes it is you create Facebook lists, custom lists in Facebook, where you take those people that you want to kind of stay in touch with, stay in front of, make sure you're paying attention to their life events. And you can create a custom list. You can call it your VIP clients or whatever you want to do it. You go into your friends category, click custom lists, create the name, and put all of those people under it. And once a week, when you're having your coffee, instead of scrolling through randomness, go click through your lists and see those people. There's Mary, there's Joey. Oh, look, oh my God, he won an award. Hey, congratulations on your promotion. Imagine, being able to stay in touch with like, comments, and everything else on a weekly basis, where normally you would probably never see them in your algorithm, ever. So it filters it for you. That's a good way to track and manage, the human side of the business because they're putting it out there. You just have to pay attention to it. Real simple.
That's pretty crazy. You're using a concept that we do in our CRMs all the time, right? You're adding a filter to
Yep.
find a list of people
That's
that
right.
you want to target. Because, okay, I'm going to come in today and I'm going to make 150 calls, but who am I going to call? So I start dropping filters and tags. What you're doing is you're taking that same mentality, applying it to your friends, to your family, to your sphere, to whatever your contacts, and using Facebook to kind of just isolate those people and show you what's happening. And it's a much better use of your time than going through and whatever the algorithm is feeding you.
Yeah. You would never be able to just go and like, oh, what about Mary? Like you sold her a home 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean and yes, you're marketing to her. Maybe you talk to her once in a while, but you're not seeing if she posts something today that's life impacting, career changing, a life event, you may not see that forever. It may never ever show up in your stream,
Yeah.
but it happened. You just didn't know about it. So it's like having good intel you can't see unless you pay attention to it. And all of those are
That's
triggers, all of those are triggers for being human.
that's a very good tip.
Yep.
There's so many things I want to ask. Uh, we definitely want to come back to that a little more. I know that one of the things I wrote down that we talked about a little bit was making yourself a better marketer. Do you remember talking about this a little bit? Because I think we're at that point now where we know we have to talk to more people. We know we have to create these groups and we want to inject ourselves into these areas and increase our reach. But now that I have all these people that I'm talking to and I have this list that's growing daily or weekly, how do I better market to them?
Yep. I think if you're a smart marketer, I mean, let's face it, we weren't taught smart marketing in real estate school. So, some of us have maybe that background a little bit, but to me, I think what happens is we need to do a better job of using tags properly, of very unique tags. A good example might be if you knew me, some tags for me, like I have 6 kids. So besides my business, if you knew that I'm into a lot of lacrosse with the kids and I coach lacrosse. So lacrosse or sports could be a tag, sports. And then if you knew I love the outdoors and I love going to the Adirondacks or outdoors could be a tag. And if I saw an article that was really cool about, kids sports and lacrosse or something, and I sent it to you saying, hey, this made me think of you. Maybe there's 5 or 10 people in that category, but I would know that because of the tag. Now that's relevant. Now I'll pay attention versus sending me, hey, here's this, it's spring and it's time to clean your gutters. And here's how you clean your gutters. Like, I don't clean my gutters, but thank you. And like, cool. Like, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's nothing that's going to get me to go, wow, I can't wait for the next one of those. But if you sent me something relevant to my world, and the only way you would know it's relevant by tagging it with something that you'll remember, because I will not remember after our conversation. If I don't tag it, I'm screwed. Right. So
100%.
tags are really simple. And I could just tag like all the people that like, or self-employed or entrepreneurs, all my contractors. And I get a good business tip. Hey, all my contractors, check this out. It was a good idea. Made me think of you guys.
I mean,
Relevant.
again, it's similar to what we were talking about with the custom in Facebook. I mean, we already know that if I call somebody and they say, "Oh, I'm not ready, 12 months out or whatever," and that we mark it 12 months out, or next year, whatever it is, we make a phone call, we talk to a person in our database, and we are going to give it a tag of some kind, and it's usually time based. But what you're doing here is you're using the same concept, but you're creating these reminders. I actually have never thought about this before, Jeff, and I'm really impressed with this idea. And I think every agent should take advantage of this because you're not going to remember everything about all your customers. If you're starting to increase the amount of people you're talking to, because that's what we're telling you to do, right? And you're going to have these awesome conversations. And even if it's not kids sports, it could be anything. It could be their own, like they're cyclers, or they could be something like they're into basketball right now, because that's what I'm into right now, because it's the playoffs. And then 2 years from now, you see a cool article about my favorite team only because you tagged it in the CRM that, hey, Alex likes the Knicks or something. You're gonna, it's just, it's so powerful because I call it a value add. I don't know what you call it. It's a very powerful nurture tool. And, we could talk about that all day, but this all goes hand in hand because these people need to be constantly reminded that you're there. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I mean, usually the other next biggest thing would be pets, dogs, cats.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a dog and I have a dog, we can talk about dogs. Like, certain people have a love and passion for certain things, right? So if I was going to host, and this is something like we teach some of our clients to do, is, how do you get your clients engaged? So one of our, like, we have a lot of good ideas, but one of them, I think in the fall of last year, we said, hey, we got, I think it was up in the Boston area. We got a lot of dogs, a lot of families with dogs, and we have dog parks and dog this. I said, okay, if you have a lot of clients around that, let's do an event around pets. So simple. He has everyone tagged up with all his clients that have dogs and pets. He has a ton of people at the dog park. So went to one of the local pet stores, because remember, good prospecting. Hey, I'm Jeff Lobb with XYZ Real Estate. As a real estate agent, I'm looking to put on an event for my clients that all have dogs and cats and pets. I would love for you to be the host of this at your place. I'll pay for food and coffee. I'm going to invite a boatload of people here. We're going to bring a photographer in. Are you open to me doing this with your store? Like, yes,
Yes.
sure. Now I create an event. So, some people, she'll open up her store for me. Great. We'll do it in the front. And we bring a photographer in for a couple $100. Now we're taking pictures with dogs and pets and special giveaways and all sorts. And I am meeting people all day long. But I had my list tagged with pet owners or dogs,
Mm-hmm.
so they get the invite automatically besides public invites.
And what would make that over the top is you already have a tag, most likely from Revaluate, that's telling you they're either, an engaged mover or a very likely mover. And now you have another tag that's like, oh, pet lover. And now you're hosting an event for pets and you're going to invite the people are scoring high because they're having a life event. Um, Obviously encourage them to bring someone else. I mean, we got to think about all these different tools that we have. And right now, the things that we're suggesting are super simple to do, and they're going to make you understand and master that database.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. Like I'm blown away by this idea. I know it's super simple, but I'm into it.
Yeah, I
You
would
got
love
to
that.
take good notes.
Chat is very quiet right now. I'm curious to know if any of these resonate with a few of you. I know sometimes
Yeah.
stay quiet, but my goal is to always be creative and be outside the box with things that'll help us get, opportunities to make more money. And none of what I talked about really even costs a lot, even though I'm okay spending money on a lot of things.
Yeah.
But those are ideas like it's not even going to cost you anything. It's the execution of it.
Events, you know, we basically painted a path how to get there, and events are a place. I always tell agents that if I get invited to an event that I know I don't have to forcefully talk to the agent, whoever's inviting me, like I'm more likely to go because I want to learn something, right? Let's say it is something that I'm going to hear about, but it's also going to be at a brewery or something. So there's going to be something to do. There's going to be
Yeah.
events. I can bring my kids. Like the venue is cool. And then now you've created a space where the people that really need to talk to you will come up to you. But you also know that you're targeting the people because you're doing your job right. You're tracking all these things and you're keeping score of evaluating and you're obviously keeping track of your database. So like you're doing things that are not going to cost you very much,
Right.
but it's going to yield results.
100%. And that's,
Um,
to me, that's smart marketing.
yeah. But yeah, anyone in chat have any questions? We've jumped around a little bit, but it is quiet, which is okay. Hope
Yeah,
you
it's
guys
fine.
are absorbing it.
But we talked about the people that need and have to move versus people that want to move. We know that that's an issue. We talked about you know the 7 streams of different people, and that all stems from the book. If you want to make a lot of money, you have multiple streams of business, multiple streams of income, right? So if the mindset of an entrepreneur is multiple streams of income, my mindset goes to I need multiple streams of lead sources. And to me, lead sources are people.
As your
So I
income.
evolved it into 7 streams of people, same concept. And if you could start benefiting from this one, why couldn't I duplicate it somewhere else with a different group? That's all it is, duplication. So, and then third is how do you become a better, smarter marketer? Because all this has to tie into more data into the database. Is whether it's events, better tagging, strategic content, not generic.
Mhm.
And then, of course, the prospecting idea of the Facebook business page that gets you out talking to people with little rejection, little rejection. So,
Yeah. So
very
we've
cool.
given them a lot of different strategies that you can do this without tech. Is there something top of your mind that's more tech heavy that we could also implement now that we have all these ideas in place? Is something that you can think of besides tags, obviously, since we have a little bit more time, like,
Sure, no, I mean, there's obviously, there's inbound lead sources, and I know people like, well, a lot of these buyers are coming in, but seller leads, if you can't generate them organically, you could purchase lead sources from people from probate and divorce and stuff like that. I have people that also just go inexpensively to Fiverr. Fiverr's that website, Fiverr, Fiverr, and you can search, probate leads, divorce leads, this leads. And I understand divorce leads, they're all going to be at different phases of their life. But remember, they're not hot leads. These are people that have conversations with that might be in a position to go more, but it's a purchase, maybe 10, 20, $30. You could do that. There are companies you could purchase seller leads from on a referral basis, and you share a split referral based. I see some people doing that quite often. I mean, oh, well, I don't want to give up 25 or 30%. Okay, but if you have no listings or no sellers, I'd rather give up 30% of something to have a contact. I mean, you have to just be smart nowadays. What other tech systems there's besides predictive that are out there. I know outbound. So outbound marketing is working really well with good calls to action. And good calls to action, we're talking about using AI for some of that. So we do a little class on, how to use Chat GPT and some
nice.
AI to generate good calls to action to deliver something of value. So a good example might be if I was looking for a seller and I wanted to run an ad to capture seller leads myself, right? I'll try and take you down the path. Think like a seller first. In 6 months before I'm ready to list my home, or I think I'm going to ready to list my home in the next X amount of months. What does a seller start to Google and search and prepare for? It's all the stuff like, should I do any upgrades to my house? Should I start painting and home improvements? Should we re-landscape? Should I renovate the bathroom? How do I get the most amount of money for my house? So I say to you, like, okay, I know my real estate career, I'm not a gifted writer. I'm good in front of a listing presentation, but writing was not my gift. So I could go into ChatGPT and say, act as a real estate agent and give me the top 5 things a seller needs to do to prepare their home for sale to make them the most amount of money, and deliver it to me in an ebook style. And it goes, and I get 3 pages of top 5 things. So I add some photos to that. I save it as a PDF document. And now if I ran an ad or a Facebook post thinking of selling, top 5 things sellers need to do before they sell their home to get the most amount of money for their home. Download your free ebook. Now I want to capture them top of the funnel before they interview agents, right? Give them something that will create FOMO, the fear of missing out. And anytime, that's a really good strategy for sellers, because there's, what should I be doing next? Should I do this? Should I do that? Use artificial intelligence to create the content for you, but always create something of fear of missing out. And here's where I, not learned this, but here's where it proves this value. So I jokingly say, and for anybody that's listening now or the future, do you have Credit Karma or Credit Sesame on your phone at all that tracks your credit scores or keeps? So I have both of them on my phone. Swear to God, I was like literally at a big convention getting ready to go on stage like 10 minutes before. So I'm backstage, I'm getting my head together, and my phone vibrates and I see a text message. It was a text notification from Credit Karma that just said, your credit score just changed. And now I'm like, damn, I gotta look.
Look.
So now I gotta look. I'm like, I'm trying to get ready to go on stage. I'm like, what the hell happened to my credit? Is it good or is it bad? It just changed. They hooked me with it just changed. They didn't say it went up. It didn't go down. Like, did something? So now I had
You have to know.
I have to know. That mentality is what we need to keep when we're trying to attract sellers. There's a million things they're trying to figure out. Should I do this? Should I do that? Is this going to make me more money or less money? It's not just about find out how much your home is worth. Yeah. Everyone says that. Create the fear of missing out on something, like 3 strategies to get, more money for your home in a changing market. Oh, cool. Let me download that. Because I know if most real estate agents that are going to listen to this, if they were scrolling through at some night tonight and they see an ad on Facebook that said 5 real estate tips that'll make you $60,000 more this year without spending a dime, download the free ebook. You're going to be like, ooh, boom.
Everyone will.
Download. You'll be putting in your old AOL address, Gmail address. Yeah. You're downloading that baby.
You're making an email for it, whatever it takes.
I got to take, but I captured you. I got someone to have a conversation with. Top of the phone. So there is tech in there, and I would let AI and ChatGPT create all that content for me, because I am not good at writing it, nor do I have the time to write it. I just ask it the right way with the right prompts, drop it into Canva, put some pretty pictures to it, and I create it one time. I could use that ebook for the next 2-3 years using lead capture and running ads with it. So simple, cost you not even a lot of money, but it's leveraging tech, it's leveraging AI. And, you can get really creative with that.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. And the other thing, people need to change the language too. They'll get a different response. Everyone wants to talk about to a seller about how much their home is worth. Change the language to get more of an emotional connection. There is, find out how much equity you have in your home. The real estate market's changed, which impacted the equity of your home. Find out how much your equity. Wait, the real estate market has changed, which may have impacted your equity. My equity might have gone up, might have gone down. I don't know.
You have to find out.
Every time a home sells, your value changes potentially, and so does your equity. It's all tied together. But think about which sounds more important to me, my equity or my home value.
Yeah.
My equity. I want to know how much, did I make more money? Is my house worth more?
Yeah. So
leverage that mindset. And I think we'll have a whole different shift if you can get that creative outside the box.
Awesome.
Cool.
Jeff, how would I, if I'm listening, or if I watch this video later, like, how do I find you? What's a good way of reaching out to you if I want to talk to you more?
Super easy. My digital business card has all my connections. It's jefflobb.social, jefflobb.social. And if you want to go check out our coaching platform at coach5252.com, 52 weeks of on-demand coaching strategies, business planning, all that fun stuff for everybody, for agents, brokers, teams, is our platform, if you will. And always open to a conversation about how we can help someone's business. We do a lot of one-on-one coaching as well, but Coach 52 is that scalable, on-demand, live stream, all that content we're talking about now, but ongoing, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of our portal for that. So check that out. So, but I'm
I'll throw together like a wrap up email with some bullet points, but we'll also add that, and Katrina shared the link in social in the web chat here.
for sure.
Unless there are any other questions, I have nothing more for you. This was amazing, and this is really different because my strength is always going to be like the CRM tech side automation stuff. So I loved having this conversation, and I can honestly say that I learned a lot of cool things. So if I was practicing agent, I mean, I have some place to start, but it comes down to just talking to more people. You said it, your formula is like, oh, so you grew your business. That's what you got to do. You got to talk to more people.
Yeah. And just the opposite. My strength is not in automation stuff. And so truthfully, like if I'm back in running my team, I would find someone that's really good at that stuff that I could work my way through it. Don't get me wrong. I could say I could do it,
I know
but
you know more
it's
than you
not my
think.
best. It's not what I'm good at. Like you are good at that. I am not. And I'm just, my ego's out of the way. Like I'm better at this. So I need somebody always. So it's always looking for that partnership sometimes in your business, that if you're not really good at this as a real estate professional, and you found, even if you start as a freelancer to someone to do it at a part-time basis, they keep your data in line. They're the ones putting it in the system for you. You got to find a way to get it in there and manage it while I go out and find new business. If that's what you have to do, then that's what you have to do. But for years, I just thought I could do it all. Like I got all this. And finally, I just had to smack myself where to the point of like, either burning out of the business because I can't handle it, and realize like, that's not what I'm good at all. Like I'm so grateful for gifted people and things that I suck at, because I never couldn't have the patience to do it or do it right. So find really smart people that do things that you are not good at and help them build your business with you. And if you have to start small, you start small, just get it done. So it's like kind of a good team, because I like, if you're good at automations, I would like be leveraging every piece of that, like help me out, right?
That's why the tags spoke to me. Like when you mentioned tags, that just spoke to me right away. It's just agents, salespeople in general, again, take better notes and mark those things. When you hear them say, yeah, no, I have 5 dogs or 1 dog or whatever it is, dogs, cats, like that's going to come back to help you years down the line, or whenever you see that article, like Jeff was saying, just doing that communication is going to continue that relationship. And that's what we were talking about. You want to keep those up and running. I don't have anything else. Thank you everybody for joining. We'll send the wrap email. Jeff, again, thank you. And I'll probably ask you to do this again when I come up with another cool topic.
Cool.
Thank you everybody, and have a good day.
See ya.